So here's an article published on PolitiFact last week that made me want to smash headfirst through a series of walls in a manner not unlike a giant robot with Homer Simpson's brain after having detected donuts, or Marvel Comics' The Juggernaut after having realized he wanted to go somewhere. I don't know, maybe he wants a donut too. Anyway, here's the article. Headline: False flag claims about the shooting in Buffalo are baseless. And then the body of the article talks about how there is an overwhelming amount of evidence in the form of physical evidence and eyewitness testimony establishing that the mass shooting at a grocery store in Buffalo, New York on May 14th did, in fact, take place. Obviously, I'm not mad at Gabrielle Settles, the author of this article, or anyone else at PolitiFact. They do good work so far as I've ever seen. I'm mad because an article like this is even necessary, and it's necessary because of tweets like this one referenced by the article. Absolutely nothing about this mass shooting in Buffalo, New York adds up to anything but a total false flag. I'm calling bullshit. Hashtag PSYOP, hashtag Buffalo shooting, hashtag false flag, hashtag mass shooting, hashtag anti-gun, hashtag psychological operation, hashtag 2A, hashtag gun rights, hashtag AR-15. And it's not just tweets from rando gun nuts with a few dozen followers. There's also this article, headline: Alex Jones predicted the white supremacist false flag shooting at the grocery store. That article is from InfoWars, the website run by Alex Jones, the same Alex Jones who previously claimed that the Sandy Hook shooting in 2012 was faked. The same Alex Jones who recently declared bankruptcy in an attempt to thwart defamation suits brought against him by families of Sandy Hook victims. Alex Jones is a piece of shit. There are bigger ones out there, but you really need to go on a hunt to find one. But does he not know how money works? Specifically, how he loses a whole bunch of it when he accuses shooting victims and their families of being liars and actors in a hoax? He obviously has no use in his life for honesty, dignity, or basic human decency, but the motherfucker loves money. I know this. Anyway, the PolitiFact article summarizes what we know about the Buffalo shooting, that it took place at a Tops grocery store on May 14th, that 13 people were shot, 10 of whom died, that the shooting was carried out by an 18-year-old self-described white supremacist who targeted black people. 11 of the 13 people shot were black, and who live-streamed the massacre as he was doing it. It happened. We know it happened. We know who did it and why. We know who the dead are. And yet, there are those, including Alex Jones, apparently, or at least someone whose work he is happy to host on his website, who would have us believe that none of it happened, that it was all a hoax, a false flag operation carried out to create a justification for stricter gun control regulations. That certainly seems to be the foremost concern of whoever posted that tweet I quoted earlier. Dig those hashtags: anti-gun, 2A, gun rights, AR-15. By the way, if you hear about a mass shooting and your first thought is, oh no, I hope they don't try to take my guns, fuck you. I hope they do take your guns. And I hope somebody live streams that. I might find it momentarily amusing to watch you sobbing like a parent who's just lost custody of their child as the ATF agents cart away your beloved collection of would-be murder weapons, you living embodiment of this country at its absolute fucking worst. The funny and sad and exhausting thing about the idea that mass shootings are faked by agents of the government in order to allow them to push through stricter gun laws is that we never pass stricter gun laws. Certainly not at the federal level. That never happens. And on the rare occasions when it does happen, when Congress does pass a law imposing stricter gun control, they still manage to fuck it up. Remember there used to be a federal assault weapons ban? Know why I have to refer to it in the past tense? Because it's no longer in effect. Why is it no longer in effect? Did the Republicans repeal it under the Bush or the Trump administration? Nope. It expired. When the Democrats passed it in 1994, they included a sunset provision that meant it would only be good for 10 years. Why would you pass a gun ban with an expiration date? This is a serious problem. We need to get these deadly weapons off the streets, but, just for a little while. Let's not get carried away. What are people like Alex Jones or the firearm fetishizing fuckwit who posted that tweet even worried about? Even if mass shootings like Sandy Hook or Buffalo or any of the others, and there have been a lot, are hoaxes designed to bring about more draconian gun laws, it's not exactly working. Think about this. In 2012, in the Sandy Hook shooting, 26 people were murdered at an elementary school, 20 of them children between 6 and 7 years old. Most of us did not believe Alex Jones when he said it was a hoax. Most of us accepted and still accept that it was real, that it happened. And what did we do about it? Nothing. This December makes 10 years since Sandy Hook. Have we banned any guns at the federal level? Nope. Has the federal government conducted any large-scale gun confiscations? Nope. Has Congress passed any gun control legislation? Nope. In fact, Congress hasn't passed any significant gun control legislation since the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act, the one with the temporary assault weapons ban in 1994. If I were a conspiracy theorist and I thought Sandy Hook was a hoax to justify gun control, but then I saw the response to it, to 20 murdered children, was absolutely nothing, I don't know, I'd probably figure my guns were safe and relax. But that all assumes these conspiracy types are sincerely concerned about policy, and I don't think they are. It's not about policy with them. It's about identity. Being the person who sees the man behind the curtain when most of us don't is who they are, or who they'd like to be. They like the feeling of being smarter than the rest of us, the feeling of being able to see a deep, dark truth that most people are too ignorant or afraid to acknowledge. I have the same question for them that I have for religious folks who insist that a given occurrence is an act of God. How can you tell? How can you distinguish between a mass shooting that is a hoax and a genuine mass shooting? That tweet I quoted earlier says that the Buffalo shooting is obviously a false flag because nothing about it adds up. So what would a mass shooting where things do add up look like? And if you can't provide a coherent, useful answer to that question, or, as is probably the case, if that question has never even occurred to you, I would consider it a personal favor if you could shut the fuck up and go away so the folks at PolitiFact could spend their time writing about other stuff that matters, because that ain't you.